Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Financial Investor channel. My name is Brent, and this is just going to be a quick update. I went out and got my appraisal on Monday, May 6th, 2019. It was my very first time going through the appraisal process where I had to contact my property manager first, and then I had to actually go to the location, the building, meet the appraisal, notify the tenants that I was there, and we were there to do an appraisal of the building and such. So in today's video, we're going to be quickly discussing the whole process there that took place. So if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button below. If you do enjoy the video, find it helpful, hit that thumbs up. And if you have any comments at all, drop them in the comment section below. If you would like to see some topics discussed here on the channel, don't be afraid to just drop them. Drop a question. I always read and reply to your comments. And let's go ahead and get into the video. So I'm going through my process currently of refinancing my duplex. I bought a duplex back in October 2018. It was a little detached duplex. Each unit is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I did my renovations in 2018. We fixed them up and they were rented in January, February 2019. So they've been rented now for about 5 months. They each rent out for $750 is the base, and then one has a pet, which is a $30 monthly addition, so it's $780 and $750. Now, I went out to, I believe lendingtree.com is the website that I went out to in order to get my sort of process kind of going and looking at all the vendors that are out there and available to do a refinance. They kind of shoot my information, then they begin to kind of battle for their rates. I was able to get a rate lock at, what was it, 4.75% annual percent APR, annual percent rate, annual percent something. I can't think right now, but I was able to lock in at a 4.75. I supplied all my paperwork, and on May 6, 2018, I had to go and do my appraisal. So prior to that, prior to my appraisal date, I had to contact my property manager because I do have a property manager. I don't have a whole lot of time outside of my W-2 job here, online media business, and then my own at home, you know, being a father and a husband and such. So it's a lot of little things. So I wanted to take that part of the business of not having those maintenance calls, not having to go out and call a plumber, an electrician, get those work order phone calls in the middle of the day where some issues happening, and you know they can do all my accounting and such because they do take care of the income and the expenses. They report it to me on a statement, and then I just kind of punch it into my spreadsheet, and at the very end of the year I'll get a 2019 statement breakdown for every month, which I can just give to my CPA. So that's one of my things why I went with the property manager. So I contacted my property manager. I said, hey, on the 6th of May 2019, I have an appraisal. It's going to be at 3 p.m. So I had already worked it out with the appraisal. I talked to the finance institution. They supplied me with the appraisal. I talked to the appraisal. I came up with a date far enough out that I could call and schedule with the property manager first, notify the tenants. So we had a date. I called the property manager and said, hey, I'm going through an appraisal on property XYZ. I need to be out there at this date. Are you able to allow me access between this hour and this hour? So they came back and actually had to adjust it just a little bit. And I said, okay, that's fine. As long as both tenants can be there to let me into the buildings, I will work it out with the appraisal because he's going to be in that location anyways. He'll be more flexible than the tenants will be. So I called back the appraisal. And I said, hey, we can't get into this building until this time. Can that work for you? He said, yeah, I'll just knock off a couple other appraisers. You know, he had to do some other spots in the city, and then I can meet up with you at that location at that time. So I said, okay, excellent. Scheduled that out. Now, on the date, I drove out there, and I waited until the exact time that I was supposed to actually be there, say 3 o'clock. I was supposed to be there at 3 o'clock, so we waited until 3 o'clock. The appraiser, he arrived. I got out of my car, went over and greeted him saying, hello, my name is Brent, and you know, here we are scheduled for the appraisal. And I walked up to the first building and I knocked on the door, and I introduced myself as Brent. I'm like, hello, I'm Brent. We're here to do an appraisal. The property manager should have already discussed that we are going, we're going to be going through here. And they said, yes, of course. Yeah, they already notified us. And, the first thing we did is go around the first property. We went around the outside. He took pictures and did measurements of the outside of the building, took a look at the roof, the siding, the foundation, looked underneath the crawl space to check everything, take pictures of the electronic box. And then as he was going around the outside, he finished up everything on the outside. So then we went inside and he took pictures of the living room, the kitchen, the space heaters, the bathroom, the living room conditions, the bedrooms, doing all the measurements, everything that he needed to do in there. And at the same time, by doing this appraisal with my tenants in place, it was kind of really nice for me because I didn't introduce myself as the owner. I had my work attire on. I work at a financial institution, so they may have thought I was actually with the appraiser, with the bank, like a banking institution. And, I didn't tell them anything specifically. I was just there notifying them that at my name. And it was nice to just see the living conditions. The first property had two females. They were sisters. They were taking really good care of the property. Everything was well kept. Everything was in place really nicely. And, it just kind of I felt a lot better knowing that the property was being taken care of. And then we did all the measurements. We thanked them, and we walked out the door and, just thanked them for their time, and then walked out to the second property. I knocked on the second property door, and he had already been out. He had greeted us earlier and let him know that we were still doing the other one, and we'd be with him in a few minutes. And then we went over to him. We just, we talked a little bit with him, and the appraiser started going around the property, looking, taking pictures, doing measurements. I made notes of issues, or not issues, but in some locations he had discussed, possibly getting a higher appraisal in the future. If I wanted to get a higher appraise, get it appraised higher in the future, as part of my duplex, I could expand one part of the wall, increase the room size, push back the closet, expand out the second bedroom out a little bit, about 8-9 feet. And he said that would give it a much higher appraisal because instead of this 800 square foot little 2-bedroom, 1-bath, I could have a 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom, 1-bath, was very nice, large bedrooms and such. And he said, you could do that. And he kind of explained the whole process. And, I wrote it down as my notes and continued on. So the second property, we went through the property again. It was a couple, male-female couple. It was great. They also were taking very good care of the property. They had pets, but they were well maintained. The pets had their own bed. There was no, immediate sort of detection of, smells or litter or, dog droppings throughout the house. The dog was well maintained for, and they had a cat as well, and he was well groomed. He had his kitty box and such. And just kind of walking around the property and looking at the inside, they were keeping themselves organized. They were also organized themselves. So it gave me a peace of mind being able to see both properties while I was out there doing my whole appraisal process. And when the appraiser, he took pictures of the bathroom, living room, laundry rooms, he asked me if I had supplied them with the washer and dryer and the fridge. And yes, all the items had been supplied. I supplied the refrigerator, the washer and dryer. I believe those are the 3 that I had supplied, and then on the other side as well. So he just asked me a few questions along the way, and I kind of made my notes if he had any sort of suggestions. That was really nice of him, and that was basically it. I finished up. We thanked the second individual, the couple, for their time, said, thanks for letting us in, and we're done now. You guys can go ahead about your day. And we went back to the vehicles. I thanked the appraiser, and I said, thanks. Am I going to be able to get pictures in the future and a report of what, how the appraisal was done and how it was graded and, what and such? And he said, yes, you're going to get a spreadsheet of your own. You're going to get a couple pictures of the bedrooms, the living rooms and such, just for your notes and stuff for the bank. You're going to get a copy as well. So, I gave him a handshake, said, thank you for your time as well. Got inside my vehicle, and the whole appraisal process was complete. That was my very first time going through an appraisal process with tenants in place. I thought it was going to be a little bit rougher. I wasn't sure what the conditions of the home were going to be in, but it actually made me feel a lot better being there on site, going through the appraisal process after I had already done the BRRRR. I had bought it, I had rehabbed it, I had rented it out, I had refinanced it, which I was going through the process of refinancing it. I believe it should appraise somewhere between 120, 130,000, possibly in there. I only bought it for 76,000, so it should appraise higher, somewhere hopefully within that range. I will go and create a future video over where to appraise that, how much cash I was actually able to remove from that property, how much I had to leave in there, and then eventually we'll go over the whole numbers of the refinance. So this one hadn't been refinanced, it was just held in cash. And I've already done my video going over my whole process of my other single family home after it was refinanced. I got a loan on that one with I believe it was 70-30, so 70% I was able to pull out. I left 30% in, and I believe I pulled out 79,000 out of that one. So I only left about $21,000 in the deal, but that was the whole process there. So that is basically all I wanted to cover in today's video. Just a quick appraisal update that I did get my duplex appraised. I am going through the whole process of getting it refinanced. I should have cash available to begin buying here in June. So I have 6 months to buy my 2 properties that I want to buy for 2019. And then 2020, I'll probably be going through the whole process. I'll be refinancing the properties that I got in 2019. And then I'll have 4 properties. And then I'll be able to buy 2 more or 3 more in 2020. And then I'll have 6. And I'll just continue doing it. And every time I buy another property, I'm increasing my cash flow from anywhere from $200 to $400 every individual building that I buy. So that is it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up. If you guys have any comments, questions about any of the process of the appraisal, drop them in the comment section below. And that is it. If you guys are brand new, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all the feedback that you do leave here on the channel. And that is it. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.